musicians just changes the color and feel of the performance radically. So, of course, when you're recording, you got to be inside yourself and not worrying or thinking about who's going to hear it or whatever. But you just got to, do your absolute, best work, every time you play. So that's what this is going to represent, just like a real, punch to the gut kind of approach to what we can do now. So.
Sounds really awesome, man. Kane Roberts on the line with us, STS Radio. You can check out his website, KaneRoberts.com. You can check him out on Facebook. He's also on Twitter as well. Kane, is there anybody in the music business that you've wanted to perform with or even just record with, but you've never had the chance to?
Well, I did do a little recording with Steve Vai. I would love to play with him guitar some days live. Also,
that would be a great guitar battle on stage, man.
Well, yeah, and then also I have I really love. I've always loved Tool and bands like that. Believe it or not, that first Slipknot album to me just really blew my mind. So these are guys I would love to collaborate with just like a wide cross section of musicians. There's a band now out called The Agonist with a female singer that does that, really, heavy, like, guttural stuff, and then she can sing really well, on top of that. So, I'm not saying that I would, just switch into that style, but I think one of the things in rock that would be really cool is, like, people from different style backgrounds getting together as opposed to, like-minded individuals always, and seeing if they could come up with something, special and different. So, there's a huge range. Of course, I would have done anything to just even shake Jimi Hendrix's hand, or you know what I mean, or Jimmy Page. I'd give anything to do that because his writing and rhythm playing it's the lexicon for so much music that came after him.
Yeah. Now I got to ask about back in your touring days as well. What was the craziest groupie story? And I'm sure you've got to have like at least a whole novella full of them.
Well, there were a few. I mean.
What was the?
Chip and I once were in a room with 8 females. I mean, that was kind of wild. And, we were reading. We did a little bit. We talked about, music and philosophy. And then there was another. There was one time I was with a girl, and her boyfriend was outside sitting, by the door just waiting, which I didn't know until, after. So, it's kind of strange. I mean, it is the ultimate existence for a guy. And, because you always know where you're supposed to be. A limo shows up to take you there. They feed you. You know what I mean? And so you don't have to worry about your schedule or how you're supposed to, you just got to practice your guitar all day. And then at night, the climax is, however many people. It doesn't have to be 20,000. For me, often it was 10, 20,000 people, that I was able to play for. So in that realm, there's a lot of sort of, rebellious, crazy people just on the other side of the window, the audience. So, that's the way I always looked at any women that, I happened to hook up with, because it was never, me just sort of voraciously eating up, any different females that went by. It was kind of like we were on the same wavelength kind of a thing. So that's pretty much what I looked for in that regard. I don't know if those stories are crazy enough, but I can't get too deep into it, if you know what I mean.
You almost have to take like the Alice approach, like I can write the stories out, but I got to wait for a couple of people to die first, right?
Right, exactly. That's what it is. That's funny.
Kane, I got to ask you, because when we had talked at Chiller originally, we also talked about, you saw me with the New Jersey Devils jersey on, and we got to talking about Scott Stevens.
Yeah, geez.
Oh, man.
Talk about hard rock. I mean, I just remember whenever he was on the ice, you just knew that there was this, lion kind of lurking in the brush, So anytime the franchise guy would be working the puck up, if he didn't have his head up, sorry.
Yeah, you ask Eric Lindros, you ask...
Well, Eric Lindros was kind of one of the heavies, but there were a lot of them. I mean, Eric Lindros, really, but he changed the strategy and the feel and the movement and dynamic of the game every time he was on the ice. So, and the Devils had that really special defensive lineup, the way they would move it. I mean, a lot of people thought it was boring. I kind of thought it was brilliant to watch that stuff because, in the background was this sledgehammer that if you did crack through, you were going to pay the price, so.
Not only were you going to pay the price, you get around him, you also got to deal with the stonewall of Marty Brodeur.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. Jeez. I mean, that was what a great era for hockey. So, and right now, for me, I'm in LA, so you got the Bruins and I got the Kings. So, I'm having kind of a party over here.
Yeah, I still got a bad taste in my mouth from the Stanley Cup Finals last year, man.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
It was kind of hard because I got to tell you, literally maybe 2 weeks after the last game of the Stanley Cup Finals, I go to see Cinderella at this place, Showcase Live over in Foxborough.
Yeah, great band.
And, they have Fred Curry's drums, which is all covered up in the sheet and whatnot. They take the sheet off, and it's just littered with LA Kings logos. I'm just sitting there going, oh, come on, man, that's way too soon.
I know. Oh, boy, I can't even believe you did that.
I was just like, come on.
When we first started touring, Guns N' Roses hadn't made it yet, and they were opening for us. And I remember I met Fred because Steven Adler got in a fight and messed up his hand. So Fred Curry came in and he subbed for Steven for a week. And I remember I walked in the dressing room and I said, "Hey, you guys sounded great." And Steve went, "Hey, don't say that." I said, "Oh shit, man, sorry." Those were great days.
Unbelievable. Now,
yeah.
Last question I got to ask you before I let you go here. I'm sure there's got to be that one rock star that's on your list that you're just like, man, that guy really just deserves the biggest punch right in the mouth. Like, who's got to be that number one on your list?
Geez, I'm trying to think of who that was. A punch in the mouth?
Yeah, just a punch in the mouth. Like, man, this guy's such a cocky, arrogant prick, or this guy's somebody did something to you personally or business-wise, or like that one rock star that just kind of gets under your skin.
Geez, you know what? I'm not being evasive here. I'm trying to think of who that would be. I mean, there was a guy yesterday who I was backing out my car, and he wouldn't move. And I'd like to knock that guy out. I mean, that was like that's the way I am. But in music, I can't really. You know what? I have to call you back on that. If I can think of who it is, I'm pulling a blank on that. And not because I don't think I'm supposed to say that. No,
and you seem like the honest guy that would be like, oh, this guy definitely deserves a punch in the mouth. And you know what? I'd punch his sister in the mouth too.
Yeah, right. Well, that was that guy yesterday, It was one of those things. I don't know if you ever do this, but you ever, somebody, gets a line off on you or does something, and then for whatever reason, you might just be a little bit stunned or you just think, you know what, I'm not going to do anything, and then it sticks with you for, a year.
Believe me, I've had those times.
I don't know what that is. It's like how are you supposed to try to do the right thing if you're going to be kicking yourself and imagining yourself blowing the guy's brains out for the rest of the year? It's ridiculous,
But I also think it's part of if he gets that one liner in at you and you're just stunned with it, you can't think of a comeback quick enough to just really kind of fuck with the guy.
Yeah. Or you just even say you know what, I'm just going to let this go because today I'm Gandhi, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then you just pay the price for weeks,
And just 5 minutes later, you're in the supermarket just going, man, I really want to punch this bread right now.
Yeah, exactly. You punch the local Wonder Bread.
What did the Wonder Bread ever do to you?
Yeah. Actually, is Wonder Bread still around? I don't know if it is.
I think so. Just for the sake of the joke, let's just say it is.
Let's say it is, yeah.
Well, Kane, it was great talking to you, man. You can check out Kane, his music on KaneRoberts.com. You can check him out on Twitter. You can check him out on Facebook. The guy's all over the place as far as social networking.
Yeah, and anytime, dude, I'd like to come back. Your family now, so it was a great interview. I had a great time, and rock on.
Hey, believe me, man, that means a lot to me right now. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
So yeah, would definitely talk to you again in the future. And when Touched is is almost done, give me a call. I'll gladly have you on.
Beautiful.
All right, Kane. Thank you very much. I bow down to you, sir.
Me too.
I'm not worthy.
Right. Exactly. All right, dude.
All right, Kane. You take care, man.
Yep. Same.